Hi, welcome to Drinkosaurus, where we take ancient cocktail recipes into the modern era. My name is Matt, and let's get drinking. In this episode, we are going to do another mystery ingredient challenge, where Jen and Danielle are each going to pick 2 different ingredients randomly from the cocktail cupboard, and I am going to do my best to incorporate as many of those as possible. I have to use at least 3, and then I can use any other ingredients that will work. And usually in the past, one person has picked all 4, but now with 2 different people who were scheming ahead of time when I was in the other room, who knows what'll happen. But my goal is to make a palatable cocktail out of those. So, without further ado, let's get Jen and Danielle out here. They'll pick their ingredients, they'll talk about why they chose them, and then we'll bring me back in, and I'm gonna do my best to mix them together. Let's get mixing.
There's one other, I just wanted to see what it was. This one, I think.
Oh, the Cassis Noir de Bourgogne.
That's what it is. I don't want that one. Where's the other one that I saw? Okay, I picked mine too.
All right. I went in. I always like to pick a bitters for Matt. I don't know why. Like, they almost feel like Pokemon or something. There's like a different style of them and colors, and so I went with Slowpoke Wild Slow Berry. And I know we've used this for something, but I forget what, so it's probably been a while. And I like the color and the look of the bottle. And then this seems like a real out of left field kind of ingredient because it has the word Applejack on it. George Washington discovered this unique beverage, asked for and received the Laird family recipe, and soon introduced Applejack to the Virginia colony. That's that. All right, Danielle?
So I picked this Amaro Nonino Quintessentia. When Matt was describing the different Amari, this one was on the lighter floral end, which I like, so I thought that would be interesting to try. I also think the bottle looks cool. That's usually important for me, is that the bottle looks cool. And then I saw this blueberry something, and I thought that's cool. Laponia Mustica Blueberry Blaser. It's inspired by nature. Laponia captures the pure taste of Arctic berries. Blueberry grows in the pristine forests of the north. Hand-picked blueberries give this premium liqueur its delicate aroma and satin-smooth taste with a touch of blueberry jam and dried fruits. It just, blueberries spoke to me because it's summer and hot out, and I don't know, a blueberry drink sounds refreshing.
I'm a fan of blueberry.
Also, yeah, I like blueberry.
Okay, let's bring Matt back in so he can take a look at these ingredients, and let's see what he's going to do with them.
Danielle and Jen tried to pick an array of challenging ingredients, but little did they know, they actually made my job maybe a little bit easy. Let me explain why. So we have 3 fruity ingredients which harmonize well with each other. And Applejack is a sort of apple-based kind of whiskey. It's similar to a Calvados, which is an apple-based spirit. So I think this whiskey, I can make like a sweet whiskey variant. So I'm going to use all 4 of these ingredients. I think I can make it work. This'll be my spirit. This will be the modifier, and these will be 2 fruity flavors. To talk a little bit more about them, this is slow berry bitters, which it's like if you ever had slow gin, that's the flavor of it. They smell like berries. This is a blueberry liqueur from Finland, and Amaro Nonino has more floral fruity flavors, so I don't think it'll conflict much with these. The trick is going to be picking the right ratios for them, and seeing if I'm going to include other ingredients. I know already the other ingredient that I'm going to include is lemon. I think the lemon will tie it all together, so it'll kind of bridge the gap between the fruity flavors and the more spirity flavors. So adding some citrus will bridge those together. The question is how sweet do I make this? How much fruit do I make this? Even though these ingredients work well together, it's still really easy to make a bad cocktail, so the ingredients, then the ratios will be important. So let's organize these ingredients and start mixing. So my inclination is to start with 1.5 ounces of the Applejack. However, I don't know how fruity I want this, so I'm just going to start with 1 ounce, with the intention of probably adding 1/2 ounce later. So let's just get that in there. Ba-doop. It smells very apple-y, but it also smells a lot like bourbon. They're very similar. They're both pretty sweet. The question is, do I favor more the blueberry or more the Amaro Nonino? I think I'm going to go with the Nonino. It's a bit more of a sensible gap. Like, these two things would be normally mixed together. I feel like the blueberry and the bourbon are a little bit more distant, so I'm not going to feature it as much. Unfortunately, this is like the hardest bottle to open ever, because you only have like this little ridge. Oh, I kind of hyped that up. Sometimes I can't open that bottle. I don't know why. So I'm going to start with a 1/2 ounce of this, knowing that I might add a 1/4 ounce more. I should be tasting things at this point, but you know what? I'm going to commit to my decisions. I am going to also add a 1/2 ounce of blueberry. I'm thinking I'm going to add more of the other ingredients, but this will give me a chance to see if I want, like if this tastes really good with the blueberry as is, I might feature more of it. Finally, I'm going to start with a dash of the slow berry bitters. This is a hard thing to dash. It kind of is more of a dribble, so I'm going to give it one dribble. I don't know if you can hear that, but that makes the most charming sound imaginable. All right, so let's see what we got so far. That's not good. That's not good. It's weird. It tastes like old people candy from the perspective of a child. You're like, this should be good. Something's weird about it. However, let's not fret. I feel like lemon will tie this all together. So I'm going to add a 1/2 ounce of lemon and see how that changes things. My suspicion is the lemon will be a nice sort of transition. So let's see. Something is still off. It tastes confused. It really tastes like it doesn't know what it's doing. And I think the blueberry and the slow berry bitters are kind of messing that up. I think it doesn't know whether to be more of a Amaro Nonino or a blueberry. So the question is, do I change the ingredients or do I add another ingredient? I'm going to add another ingredient. You know, this is my fault for saying, these ingredients will be a piece of cake. Nope, not as I expected. I think the Applejack is throwing it off a little bit too. So I'm going to add some ginger. Don't ask me why. I just have a good feeling about it. I think it'll be enough of like a weird flavor to really have things make sense. Don't ask me how. It's working. All right, we're putting it together somehow. So the ginger, I think with the lemon and the ginger provide some sort of cohesion. I can't like articulate why it is working because of the ginger. It might just be because ginger tastes good, but the flavors it's kind of like this. All the flavors were having an argument and the ginger went in there and went, hey, shh. I'm also a little drunk right now. So here's the crucial part. It needs a little bit more of something. I feel like if I add more of the Applejack, my audience, Jen and Danielle, won't like it as much. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep the ratios the same. So I have 1 ounce of the Applejack, a 1/2 ounce of the Amaro Nonino, a 1/2 ounce of the blueberry liqueur, 1 dribble of the slow berry bitters, and a 1/2 ounce of lemon, and some dashes of the ginger bitters. This is risky, but I'm going to add some sugar to it. I'm going to hope the sweetness is like another sort of ingredient that'll make things work. So I'm going to add about a 1/4 ounce of simple syrup. I was really confident that these 4 ingredients would stand on their own. They need a little bit of help. I don't know. It tastes very unusual. You know what? I'm going to mix it as is. See what Jen and Danielle think. And maybe based on their feedback, I will change it around. I don't know what to make of this. I really don't. I don't know what it tastes like. I don't know what it reminds me of. But they picked the ingredients, so they're going to have to suffer the consequences. So let's mix it. Hello. And maybe we can adjust it. So let's see. I need a cup. I have a cup. I don't know if this is technically called a cordial glass or a Nick and Nora glass, but I don't know who Nick and Nora are, so we're going to call it a cordial. So I'm going to double strain this. Ooh, that is not a nice color. Oh, it could be. It's like a honey color. Spoiler alert, doesn't taste like honey. The color looks a little bit off-putting, but the more I look at it, the better it looks. Is that a nice color?
It's almost cider-y.
Yeah.
Or like
apple cider. Well, if you're expecting it to taste like apple cider, let's see how it tastes chilled, because sometimes the temperature of the drink can affect the taste. I'm going to reserve comments just to keep a clean palate for Jen and Danielle, but let's see. Danielle, you take a little sip first. Tell me what you think.
I'm scared. It looks like a beer.
She's going in for a second sip.
I like it.
It's weird because it almost tastes like nothing in a way. It tastes like tangy, slightly alcoholic water or something.
What do you think, Danielle?
1%. Say your true feelings, because it could just be my palate.
No, I somewhat agree. I like it, but I think there's not a lot of flavor profile going on. I definitely have the citrus and some sweetness.
It feels like for
and
everything.
I taste the Amaro. I think it's the Amaro that I'm getting for sure.
I find it funny that you put so many ingredients in there, and yet it's like...
Yeah, that's it. I do like it, but I think, there's not a lot of...
I don't even have an aftertaste
profiles
right now.
No.
So I think Jen described it really well. It doesn't taste like anything. It's really, really weird. It tastes a little bit of honey and a little bit of ginger. Honey, there's no honey in here. None of these taste like honey. And there's ginger in there, but it tastes, it's a really weird sensation. You get a little bit of flavor and then it's gone. There's the sensation of citrus and there's the sensation of sweetness, but there's no flavor to it. It tastes like water. So this makes sense because in a previous episode, I don't know which order these are going in, but maybe we'll make it. But I talked about a bar that I went to where they added so many different ingredients. And in the end, it tasted like nothing. And this is an example of that. So what I should have done is really committed to one of the flavors here. But instead, I was like, let me add some lemon. Let me add some ginger. And what ended up happening is there was too many flavors going on at once, none of which was in harmony with the others, and they all canceled each other out. So I think the only thing worse than a cocktail that's bad in flavor is a cocktail that has no flavor. And sometimes when you're mixing, it's amazing. You can put so many things in there, and it's almost like mixing paint. You mix it all together, and then you just get some indiscriminate color. And that's kind of what happened here. So the question is, do we salvage it or do we throw it out? I would throw this out, but let's see if we can salvage it. The question is, what would I add? Nothing is playing along here. They all got in a fight. The lemon tried to break up the fight, and then the ginger came in, and then they all got tired, and then they're taking a nap. I think I can fix this, though. All right, so when Jen and Danielle were picking ingredients, they looked at the Cassis Noir de Bourgogne, and they didn't pick it, but maybe it was meant to be. I'm going to put a half ounce of this in this drink. Why? I have no idea. Ooh, look at that. Maybe it was the change of color that it was needed. So it had berry inspired flavors. This is Cassis, is the black currant, but in a region. I don't know. I put a half ounce of that in there. Let's see what it does. It made it a nice color. Let's see how it tastes. It smells like blackcurrant. Once again, I'll defer comments and see what Danielle and Jen think.
It almost smells like jam. Obviously because of the cassis. It has a flavor now, and it's just that.
You are right on the money. So I don't know why this is surprising to me. But if something tasted like nothing and then you add a different flavor, wow, it tastes like that flavor. So it now just completely tastes like this, which this is delicious. So therefore, this is delicious. Is it a good cocktail? No, not at all. It's Cassis de Noir de Bourgogne with more fluid. It literally tastes exactly like this. It's so weird how all these flavors equal nothing. It's so weird, because these are all potent flavors, like none of these are mild. It's taken, 24 episodes, and I have made a failed cocktail. I would not serve this to anybody. I would throw it out. This is a failed venture. But that's good, because it's interesting. Like, when you think of a cocktail that's bad, you probably think of something that's, like, unpalatable or weird or, like, uncomfortable to drink. I think, like, this is just so mundane. It's so nothing. There's nothing remarkable about this. It tastes like the savior ingredient, which at this point you might as well just serve this and make it better. The thing that went wrong, 2 things. One of which I tried to do too much. So I tried to save it instead of just leaning into the ingredients that were there. I should have included more of the nonino or the blueberry. The ginger was just a distraction. I put the ginger in and it was like, now it tastes like ginger. And then it tasted like nothing. The other thing, this is the 4th episode we're filming and I am a little tipsy-dipsy. So, The thing to keep in mind is when you're making your own cocktails, make sure it has its unique identity. Because this happens, like when I experiment with my own cocktails, sometimes I'll make something and the flavors cancel each other out. And you want to avoid situations like that because then you're just like drinking something that doesn't have any identity. And I'd rather have a cocktail that's like weird and almost like unappetizing rather than something that has no character at all. Because then you're just basically drinking weird alcoholic water that kind of like has the sensation of something, but not the taste of anything. So what did we learn? If you have some flavors, lean into them more. The more things you mix together, the more different flavors you mix together, you're probably going to end up with nothing. It's counterintuitive, but hey, that's what happened. This doesn't happen just now. Like this happens a lot behind the scenes. You're not going to make things perfect all the time. But I do say it is good to do something more risky than to play it safe. Drinkosaurus is a production of Little Giant Monsters. If you want to see other projects we're working on, check us out at littlegiantmonsters.com. If you really like what we're working on, please consider supporting us on Patreon, like these awesome people do. Leave some comments if you have any ideas for future videos or just want to say hi or say, hey, you made a bad cocktail, but it's okay. Please. If you have any ideas for future videos or any suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. That's all for today's episode, and remember, keep mixing, but not too many random ingredients, because then you'll end up with a mishmash that tastes like nothing. And drink responsibly. It's bad. Have a good one.